Hello everyone! I'm back! Yay! It's been a little while. I don't know how long, but at least it's not a year like usual. This is my third try at filming this video because I changed my mind on what the exact topic is going to be every single time, but I don't have a choice to refilm after this one, so this is it. Today my video is about, it's a little bit different than usual. It's not a makeup tutorial and it's not me ranting about something. It's cosplay mistakes that I made. So these are all mistakes that I made as a beginner. I had a bit of bad luck with this video because, oh, one, I had to refilm it so many times. Two, I've been feeling so lazy, and also I've been quite busy, so I haven't really done this as quick as I should have. And three, I managed to spray myself with hairspray directly on my eye. Luckily my eye was closed, but it hurt my skin so bad. It hurt so bad. And then it also got rid of my makeup and made it tear up and like melt my makeup all in this eye, so I had to redo this eye. Such a pain. And it's also why I'm looking a little bit haggard at the moment. Really cool, really epic. I am doing an ad. That's right. It's an ad. Today's video is sponsored by Amino app. The Amino app is a community app filled with all different communities from cosplay, beauty, anime, and more. I actually used to use one of the apps back when there were all 10 billion different apps. That was back in my anime roleplay phase. The Amino app's spanking new feature is the stories function. It works similar to stories like in other apps like Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But the main thing is that you choose a tag to follow and it'll show you exclusively videos and stories from other creators in that tag, and you can also make your own to share. While working with the Amino app, I made my own story. I decided to make cosplay makeup do's and don'ts for eye makeup. It's something I have a lot of experience and passion in, so I really hope you like it because it was probably pretty hard for me to edit this. There's going to be a link down below for you to join Amino if you want and view that video if you want. It really helped me out if you did view the video, and thank you very much for clicking that if you do. Anyway, mistake number one. One of my biggest mistakes as a beginner cosplayer is buying really cheap wigs and cosplay. I'm talking eBay, like $10 for a full cosplay wig, $20 for a full cosplay. Usually if it's too good to be true, then it is. A lot of the time they steal photos of better looking wigs for these listings. You're not gonna get what you paid, well, you're gonna get what you paid for, you're not gonna get what's in the picture. I made the very poor mistake of buying 2 wigs on eBay, and I definitely learned my lesson after that and never ever bought a cheap wig ever again from sites like eBay or Etsy or anything like that. They are very, very thin, almost no hair on them. You can see all the wefts on the back. I don't actually have any cheap wigs anymore, so I can't show you in person, but see-through, especially if it's white. They are never, ever, 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 ever heat-proof. Ever. Ever. They will shed even though they've got almost no hair in them. You will be grabbing handfuls out of it every time you take it out of the bag. They tangle really easily. They're really bad quality synthetic fibers and generally are just not very good. Beginner, don't fall for cheap wigs off eBay or Etsy. I don't have much experience with AliExpress. Always check reviews and do your research and check the approval rate of the seller as well, and do they sell just junk or do they sell cosplay items? That's a good way to measure it up as well. Mistake 2, really big mistake, very big mistake. Not watching tutorials before trying to style wigs, including cheap wigs. But I know other people have done this as well. 15-year-old or a 16-year-old. You kind of think that things are just going to work out and it'll be okay. I'm here to tell you that it won't work out and it will not be okay. Watch tutorials and watch more than one. Watch good, high-rated tutorials. Learn how to detangle wigs. learn how to cut bangs in a wig or a fringe. Learn, 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 learn. Because you are going to end up with lots and lots of ruined wigs. And research whether that wig that you've got is heat proof. Ask the seller or check the description if you can flat iron it, because I have ruined quite a few wigs by flat ironing them. And they are absolutely fried. You can't save it once you over fry it. There is pretty much nothing you can do. You can try the fabric softener method washing attempt, but really once a wig is fried, it's going to stay frizzy. And there are videos on how to smooth it out. If you look up how to wash a wig or how to detangle a wig, the most watched video has a thing on how to try and soften wigs that are not heat resistant, but once you fry it, it's pretty much time to chuck it in the bin. And the second part of this mistake is not researching quite enough and getting the wrong materials to style a wig. Plain old hairspray is like good enough. If you need something like gel, I wouldn't recommend getting sticky mud like stuff, or there's no point. There's absolutely no point getting like the gel, like the see-through gel. It doesn't work in synthetic wigs. Just don't even try it, okay? This is totally my experience, but I have styled wigs with like spikes or like outwards curls, and wet gel has never ever worked. That is actually something I had to learn the hard way. And like I said, this is the best for styling wigs because it's like, it's hard to explain, but it just holds very well. Pretty much every single cosplay tutorial person out there recommends that hairspray, and I'm pretty sure maybe their gel is good for it as well. I'm not sure. There are plenty of tutorials out there. Look them up, watch them, and don't cut your bangs too short on your wig because they will not grow back. And you'll have a tumbler fringe wig, and if you're not into that, if you're into like eyebrow length fringes like I am, in fact I like them a little bit low, I have to keep pulling this wig down. Mistake 3! This one hurts to think about, not only for my past, but my friends' past, or the ones before me and the ones after who have fallen for this shit. Now I want to say, yes, I do know I'm sponsored by quite a lot of these shops, but personally I wouldn't buy from a lot of them. As someone who can and does use Taobao, you can get anything off overpriced Taobao websites off Taobao for probably a quarter of the price a lot of the time. It hurts my heart to know that there are still teenagers and kids being fooled into buying a wig like this for $70. It's not worth it, I promise. I'm sorry. You one day will find that you'll be able to get wigs, the most identical wig for a cheaper price. Even if you can't use Taobao, you don't want to use Taobao, it's too much of a process. It does take very long to get your stuff. There are shops like, and I'm not sponsored by either of these by the way, shops like For Wigs, Wig Supplier, or L-Email Wigs. That's where I first discovered cheap wigs that were decent like cosplay quality from. I will link these below as well. And Uwowo Cosplay, because Uwowo is an actual Taobao store. They sell their cosplay on their English site for about the same, just a little bit more than they do on their Taobao store. So it's a decent price point. It's actually what they're worth, like retail in Taobao. If you just see, Kawiwi Instagram store 5, and they're selling this wig here for $70, but they're also selling these pom-poms for $10 each. Like, there are quite a few stores I would name, but I'm sure you'll figure it out once you see it. Don't fall for it, save your money, wait. Don't buy too cheap, but don't buy too expensive, because the cheap will get you shit and the expensive will get you decent, but not worth the money you paid for it. Mistake 4, skipping parts of a cosplay. And I was guilty of this a couple of times, but I kind of realized that I didn't particularly like wearing the cosplay when I did this, so I managed to save money to get what I needed, or made, or got my mom to make, or got my best friend to make something to help me out. So one particular thing for me was my Mary cosplay from IB. I didn't have a petticoat for it, and it looked very bad without one, but I just wore it without a petticoat anyway, and that was such a mistake. It was like really flat, nothing like the shape of her dress, and it was just very unflattering and made me look quite a bit wide. Even just skipping accessories on a cosplay can make it look a lot different from the actual character. That's another thing. If your wig needs to be cut, watch a tutorial and cut it. Even if you have the right color wig, even if you have the wig for the character, if you don't style it, if you don't cut it, it doesn't look very good and you look way more like a beginner, which is okay if you're a beginner, but you want to learn as quickly as you can so you can enjoy wearing the cosplay more. Like, a lot of the joy in cosplay is other people recognizing you wearing this character, or other people's joy in seeing you wearing the character that they recognize. And if they can't recognize it because the costume isn't correct or the wig is completely unstyled, it's a bit of a letdown, you know. Just personally, that's how I feel as a cosplayer, or felt when I still went to cons. A lot of my joy came from people being happy to see someone doing that cosplay. And final item 5. Oh, my lip gloss is dripping down my face. Gross. I've talked about this before. My biggest regret as a cosplayer was my bad makeup. I really thought I was doing something when I put on 10 tons of eyeliner and like 3 pairs of eyelashes, including bottom eyelashes, and like everything just hurt all the time. I was constantly uncomfortable, like my eyes felt so heavy and they looked heavy too. I would, you know, I personally argue maybe I'm wearing just as much makeup as I used to, but the whole point is it looks like I'm wearing less. I used to not trim my eyebrows. I couldn't use eyelid tape very well. Instead of eyeshadow, I would just pack on eyeliner like so much. My eyeliners ran out very quickly, and my mom used to get me like cheap bundles, like an elastic band around a bunch of cheap liquid eyeliner as a present because I went through them so quickly. I didn't soon learn. It took me years to realize you don't need to do that to do anime cosplay makeup, and a lot of the time it makes it look more heavy, makes it look more mature, makes it look more adult and not like an anime schoolgirl. It's just too much, and it doesn't really you may look more like the anime drawing, but you don't look like it makes your eyes smaller. That's my tip for you. Learn from my mistake. Less is more. And please God, don't do concealer lips. Don't do it. Stop doing it. And don't do white gap. It's not worth it. I'll do a Mino story on concealer lips one day. But if you want to know what white gap is and why it's so horrible, watch my video on do's and don'ts for cosplay makeup, because it's something that I have a lot of experience with, and like I did it and I watched other people doing it, and at one point it was just like, yeah, like of course, like that's just what cosplay makeup is. The J fashion or cosplay influencers I used to watch when I was quite like a lot younger would do it, and like for big eye dolly makeup, you might know what I'm talking about. And if you don't remember that phenomenon, or if you're just curious on like how badly I used to do it, just check my video down below, because you'll also be helping me out and you'll be probably having a little bit of a laugh because it looks so bad and it actually hurt my eye to do, so you better like it. This video is over already. Thank you for watching. Give it a like if you like. If it dislike, give it a dislike. And if you double liked it, then hit subscribe. And if you triple liked it, then smash the bell. I'll be doing another video soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. I love you.